let's look at a natural monopoly now then. Now, the diagram is going to look quite different to monopoly diagram, but it is actually just the same. A natural monopoly, the thing that separates it from your standard monopoly that we've been drawing before is that they have very high fixed costs. So I'll just do my axes there. When we draw the average revenue curve, it's the same, and marginal revenue, same again. It's just that the average cost curve, because fixed costs are a really high proportion of total costs, it means that we get this elongated shape. So it hasn't, those are my average costs, a bit wonky there. It hasn't started to increase again, so there's lots of gains that can be made from economies of scale. Okay, and marginal cost, because average costs haven't started to increase, marginal cost isn't actually intersecting the average cost on this diagram. Later down, you know, if I kept on drawing off the page, there would be a point where they intersect, but not on this part of the diagram. So, same rules apply. This, even in a natural monopoly, they're going to want to profit maximise, so it's marginal cost equals marginal revenue. So this is the quantity they're going to produce at. If we go up until it hits the average revenue curve, this is going to be the price that they produce at. There we go. And where it goes through the average cost curve, that's going to be the supernormal profit. Okay, now the difference between this and your other monopoly diagram is what's happening when we compare it to the competitive market equilibrium. So we know that the competitive market equilibrium is going to be where marginal cost equals average revenue. So this would be the equilibrium for, I'm going to call it C for competitive. I'm just going to relabel my Q1 as QM and PM. So this is going to be the point where the price is as well, because it's intersecting average revenue at that point. So this is the price of the competitive market. But what we're going to see is actually the costs are much higher than the price. So if I go and draw a dotted line back to there, we see that that box, I'm going to colour in red this time, and that's not supernormal profit. What that is loss. Okay, so with a natural monopoly, and this is really why it's called a natural monopoly, the competitive equilibrium would actually be less efficient than the monopoly equilibrium. And the reason for that is that we know that businesses that make a loss don't stay in business for very long. So you'd have, if you wanted to produce this amount of output here, the only way that you could do it would be for the government or some other organisation to subsidise these smaller businesses the amount that they would, the difference between the marginal cost and the average cost, that would be the size of the subsidy per unit, and that would equal that box there. Which would be very expensive and quite expensive for the government, so that I suppose they have to decide which is better. Is it better to let this firm make supernormal profit and produce below what would be the allocatively efficient output, so there's underproduction in the market? Or would it be better to get to this allocatively efficient point, but to have to fund the firms by this amount? So, tough decision there.